Okay, this is another 10 games in ranked video. This time playing Esper Doom. For this video, I'm actually going to keep track of when I'm playing. Just give me a second. When I'm playing first or second. So playing against mono red here in the first game, playing second. Pretty easy to lose when you're playing second against mono red, but I didn't really play great either. I think I just needed to foretell a Doomscar here and I didn't. For some reason I thought the Elspeth Nightmare would be useful. Because I was worried about an Embercleave, but if they had an Embercleave, they could just use it before I get the discard anyway, so no real point using Elspeth's Nightmare then. I think the reason that I used it is because I thought they wouldn't have any more Knights to boost with the Fervent Champion. But of course they had the Rimrock Knight, so I got punished for that. Yeah, I just got super. I think I definitely could have won this game from this point if they didn't get the land for the Faceless Haven then. I suppose there were a lot of cards they could have had that would have killed me, but yeah, I just needed to foretell that Doomscar earlier. So I could have won that game, I think, even playing second against mono red. So playing second in this game as well, this time against a Golgari deck, which you don't see very often. I think it's like a decent matchup against, like I have a good matchup with it, but if I was playing first it would have been a lot better, because I could have just played out the Doom Foretold to kill the Harbinger instead of just being dead here. And yeah, they've got the Great Henge, so I don't think there's anything I can even do at this point. I could have been scrying to try to hit a Doomscar, but even then they just get to play another couple of creatures on their turn. And then what do I do? Oh, my opponent goes first. And it's mono red again, my favorite. Also, I'm stuck on lands. I was trying to decide, do I want a swamp or an island, even though I do have the Doomscar, which I also need white for. I already had a plains. So I thought I learned my lesson here and decided to foretell the Doomscar. But for some reason I just didn't even play it next turn. I don't know why. I guess I thought that I wouldn't be dead if I played Raven's Warning. But they just play Embercleave and kill me. So already ranking down. three losses in a row. I think I am playing first here. Yep. So I've got one playing first on the board. I might have to skip some of this game at the end of it because I ended up getting roped a bit by the opponent. So after losing 3 games in a row, then I get roped. Could have drawn with a tome, but I think it's better to get the Omen on the board, especially if I draw a Yorion. You want more artifacts and enchantments on the board. More things that you can blink with Yorion. I shouldn't have played the Doom that early. I don't know why I did. Even after I played it, I'm like, any other play I think would have been better. I don't really care if they get another zombie token. And now I play the Simulacrum, which I probably should have played last turn. And I think the Doom Foretold kind of works in the opponent's favour here. So I got pretty badly punished for playing it. So I did make some mistakes. I mean, I've made a few mistakes already. But if yeah, that was a good draw. I guess I got lucky then. Doesn't hit the rankle though, but got everything else, including the creatures they had in the graveyard. But if I was playing first in like any of those first 3 games, I probably would have won 1 or 2 of them. But still, it would have been better if I just didn't make mistakes all the time. So they had the Village Rites and then the Doom Foretold goes off. I think they have like a 3rd or 4th rankle here. There's a lot of rankles in the opponent's deck. And I could have blocked them, but I just let him hit me with it. Then I get to draw a card anyway from attacking with the Raven. Got to look at their hand, but I didn't really care, I guess. And I have the ECD for their rankle. Also, I just knew the cards that they had in their hand. I almost thought about blocking with Yorion here, but then I wouldn't have had anything to use ECD on anyway, so I knew they had the Maya's Grasp, but I knew that if they weren't using it on Yorion, they would just use it on another creature anyway. So there wasn't a ton of value in not blocking with Yorion then. So I didn't get the 3rd chapter of Raven's Warning very often. And yeah, I think the opponent... they don't even have an instant thing to play, so they're just in full control roping me here. So I'm just going to skip to the end of the match, because they didn't do anything except rope me as much as they could. I didn't see... Okay, opponent goes first. Cool. And it's a snow-covered mountain. Surprising. Maybe I should have kept count of how many mono red games there was. How many mono red opponents Turns out mono red very, very popular in Platinum at the moment. So I could have blocked each of their creatures with the tokens here, but I kind of wanted them to just use a removal spell on one of my tokens for some reason. Because I felt like then they would pretty much just be wasting that removal spell. But I don't even know if that worked out good for me. Also, this didn't feel great. Doing nothing on turn 4 against mono red. I'm glad that I had Yorion as the companion, or I would have really been doing nothing. I could have, yeah, I thought for a second about playing Yorion then, because it would gain me some life and give me blockers anyway. But I'm like, I can use those blockers with the 2 Roomrock Knights they have. But then I just drew a Doomscar, so I'm like, yeah, it's probably better. Even though the Omen tokens are good blockers, they might just have a Embercleave, and I would have just been dead to that if I played Yorion, I think. So it's better for them to not have creatures, and then, yeah, they just gave up at that point. My opponent goes first. That's a surprise. Don't often get to play second with this deck. It's going to be a new experience. Playing against cycling here. I think this deck has enough tools against the cycling deck, namely the Elspeth's Nightmare. Pretty happy to have that in my hand. I actually counted out, like figured out, okay, what am I going to do next turn, the turn after, and the turn after that? And I'm like, yeah, there's no time to play an Omen. Because I'm like, I'm playing the Omen of the Sun, and then I'm playing the Elspeth's Nightmare, and then I'm playing Yorion. But this was pretty good, that I got to kill both of their, whatever they're called, token making machines. That's why Omen of the Sun is in the deck. I'm glad I had it too in that situation. Otherwise, maybe I would have just been dead. But I think at this point they just like gave up. I guess they didn't want to discard a I don't know. What is that spell called? A Zenith Flare. Also, yeah, that Elspeth's Nightmare, it would have exiled the graveyard, so the Zenith Flare doesn't do as much. But I don't know what was in their hand. Maybe they got flooded, I don't know. But I would have seen what was in their hand if they didn't concede. So yeah, against mono red again. So there's been, I mean, this is the 7th game. Is it the 4th mono red opponent? So I don't have any sweepers yet. So I kind of just have to use the ECD here. But the good thing is I can play Yorion next turn, which I don't even think I end up doing. Yep. I knew when they attacked that they had Embercleave. Because what else would it be? I suppose it could have been a Rimrock Knight. But it's better for them to put the Embercleave on the Fervent Champion than they just hit me for 10 by putting it on the Bone Crusher Giant, which is why I blocked there. Even though I kind of wanted the Simulacrum so that I could bounce it with the Yorion just to get the lands. And yeah, I'm pretty sure I wanted to deal with that Embercleave. Otherwise they could equip the Bone Crusher Giant. And I knew that they were out of cards at this point. I do have the Doomscar, but I don't even think I wanted to use it because they just had the Phoenix anyway. Also, they had Faceless Haven, so Doomscar not great at all here. Also, I just wanted to draw lands this game, and I was very much not drawing lands. Yeah, I was thinking about playing the second Yorion there, so that I could exile that Phoenix, but I guess I wasn't too worried about the Phoenix. Yeah, I wasn't sure whether to block the Phoenix or the Robber, but I ended up just blocking the Phoenix, I think, because it's two more damage. Even though I'd rather kill the Robber than the Phoenix, because the Phoenix can come back. I think it's better to kill the Phoenix in this situation. Given that if they do want to bring it back, at least that they wouldn't have the mana for the Faceless Haven then. And I'm not sure, I think I might even get roped in this game too. Yep, it's looking... They have the Faceless Haven activation, and that's why they have priority here. So at least they're not in full control just to rope me, but... I guess they didn't full rope then, but I think this is just game. I drew the Shadow's Verdict off the Maze Mind Tome. I knew they could activate the Faceless Haven, so if they did draw a Frostbite, they could have hit me for 4. Opponent goes first. Not looking one-sided at all in terms of when I'm on the play versus on the draw. I think the main reason I'm keeping that tally is because I felt like I was playing second every game. Also, I think I would have maybe got like the results. My results would have been a bit better if I was playing first more. Like, I didn't want to just dismiss this deck as being terrible just because I was playing second every game with it. Opponent got kind of stuck on lands here. They do get to draw a card off the Wind Robber. I had Dance of the Manse, which was really good, but I was so worried about them having a Mystical Dispute that I was like playing around it pretty hard here. To the point where I was just gonna sacrifice Yorion here if they had the Mystical Dispute. But it turns out they didn't really have it anyway. But I wanted to draw cards so that I would get lands anyway. So that the dance would be better when I eventually do use it. So I didn't draw lands, so I decided just to go for the Shadow's Verdict. Kind of surprised that it resolved. The reason that I didn't attack first is because they might just counter it, and then they can hit me back for like a ton of damage, and I wouldn't have any blockers. I was kind of just looking for lands here, but I think I kind of regretted like not just drawing cards with a tome. But I did draw a land eventually, so I think I decided just to go for a dance. Still playing around Mystical Dispute. I don't know why. I probably should have just gone for the full value. But I would still have the mana for the golden egg anyway, so figured it was maybe worth it. But then they play Zareth and Crippling Fear at the same time. I suppose I should have realized that the hand was maybe just full of removal spells. But I think I got kind of lucky drawing the Doomscar, although I did have a few draws to get it. I had the golden egg and the draw from the Maze Mine Tome. Don't think the opponent was thrilled about that. So what do I get with a Raven's Warning? Yeah, I just get a counter spell or two. But I knew that I was just going to do a dance here. And I was going to shuffle those spells back in that I got with the Raven's Warning anyway. Because I'm not going to not get lands with the Simulacrum. Although I could have. Opponent goes first. Did I count wrong? I might have counted wrong here. Because this is the 9th game and I've got 10. No. I thought that count was off. Maybe it's just 7 instead of 8. I was pretty annoyed here that they were tapped out and I really wanted to play Elspeth's Nightmare, but I didn't have the black mana to do so. Also, the opponent was kind of also being annoying. I didn't know what to do then. Like, I almost thought about just playing a golden egg or an omen, probably the omen. But now at least I get to mute the opponent, so that's good for me. And there's the swamp that I wanted this whole time. I mean, it's not a swamp, it's a pathway, but the black mana that I needed. Pretty glad that the opponent got mana screwed here. The funny thing is, I was going to, even though I put the Mystical Dispute on top, I was just going to shuffle it in with the birth. The reason that I went for birth first is because I knew I wanted to resolve the Elspeth Nightmare, and I was like, if they do have a counter, maybe they'll counter the birth, I don't know. But yeah, they were mana screwed here, so at this point I should be able to get back into it. Even though I am pretty far behind. Get a good Yorion play here. I thought I almost left myself dead then. Because I didn't make them discard a Heartless Act. Because I'm like, wow, they can Heartless Act this wall here, but they didn't also have the mana. Opponent goes first again. So I'm going to just leave it on 8-2. Because I'm pretty sure I played 10 games, 8 of which, I mean, and only 2 of them I was playing first. 2 out of 8. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know where I got the count wrong, unfortunately. That's going to be fun to look back on and see like where I got those numbers from. This game was extremely annoying. Probably shouldn't have topped the Nightmare then, but I knew I was playing against the control deck, so generally, and I thought they would have Dance of the Manse in their deck, so making them discard and exiling the graveyard is pretty good. But yeah, after they played the Elspeth's Nightmare, I was like... Also, I was just like super flooded this game, which I wasn't thrilled about. Even on like turn 2, I was like, I have way too many lands, and I just kept drawing more and more lands. So after they played the Doom Foretold, I was actually like kind of happy, but then I saw that they had Tergrid in their hand, and I was like, none of my cards deal with Tergrid, so I'm going to lose to just that one card because I have no answers for it at the moment. I was trying to think of all the things that I could have drawn, like ECD and Doomscar. Shadows. I drew the Shadow's Verdict, but that's the wrong sweeper. I needed the Doomscar instead. Yeah, I mean the Raven's Warning could eventually get me there, but that would probably take too long. I was thinking about sacrificing the golden eggs and then they wouldn't get it, but there's just like... I don't think there's anything I could do, unless I drew a way to deal with Tergrid, and I didn't. Like, I probably should have just played Yorion, but is that even that good for me? I was going to have to discard the Omen if I didn't play it, which I think is the only reason that I actually played it. But yeah, facing off against a Tergrid that I can't deal with in a Doom mirror, not fun at all. There was just nothing I could do the whole game. I don't even know why I played that Doom then. That was incorrect. Should have just played a Yorion that turn. Just hope that I could draw a ACD or a Doomscar. Because if I could deal with Tergrid, like, this game was fine, but I guess they also had the land to get it back. So it would have had to been the ECD to exile it. But yeah, I was trying to think, and I was just yeah, at some point I was like, it doesn't matter, does it? I can think all I want about how I can be losing a little bit less, but then I was just like, yeah, this game's just over. What am I doing? So yeah, that was... I don't know where I went wrong with the playing first and second, but I'm pretty sure there was only 2 games where I was playing first out of those 10. So yeah, 6-4 after going 0-3. I really just wanted to win 7 in a row. That would have been awesome, but losing that last game because I can't deal with Tergrid. There are 4 ECDs in this deck. But yeah, with 80 cards you can't just expect to draw what you need. Yeah. Anyway, that's it for the 10 ranked games with Esper Doom. And I'm just going to leave it at that. I could re-record the entire video just so that I don't mess up when I'm playing first, but I think the end result of I was playing first twice and I was playing second 8 times is correct. So anyway, that's it for this video. So thanks for watching, bye.